Hey guys, how you doing? It's Kevtech here bringing another video on information technology. I hope you're having a good day. Happy Saturday. And today I want to go over Microsoft Azure Lab, Homelab on the Cloud, Part 2. So if you know what I'm doing, you know what to do, rate, comment, subscribe, and follow me. Follow along with what I'm doing. This should help you out and you could add these skills on your resume. Alright, so let me share my screen and show you what I'm talking about. Alright, fantastic guys. So let's have a look here on my screen. So as you can see, I have my server here and my Windows 10 operating system. Don't worry about Windows 10. We're not going to do anything on that today. I just want to go over AD today, and I actually want to set up our domain controller. So click on the start button right here. That's to start your VM or start your cloud services or to start your server 2019. That's literally what we're going to do today. Just set up AD, and I want to go over a couple of things on AD. And we should be good to go after that. So just give that a second. It's probably thinking about it. So I'm going to hit the refresh button. It says it's still not ready to use. So it says it started successfully. So let's see if that's true or not. So we're going to hit the remote desktop for our call. We're going to download the RDP. We're going to click on it. We're going to hit connect. And it looks like it worked. So we're going to log into that real quick. And it should let me in. Hit yes. And it looks like it worked. All right. Awesome. Fantastic. So I already renamed the domain controller to DCNY01. You could call it whatever you want. That's literally what I did. And if you go to properties, just give that a second, maybe a little slow. DCNY01. Yep, that's correct. So it's loading the services right now. So what we can do, right, is we go into manage. We go into add roles and features because there's no, it's something that the wizard's still going, which is why it's taking forever, which is fine. It should work now. We're gonna head next. We're gonna do remote desktop feature based installation, right? We're gonna head next, and literally what we're going to do is we're gonna do Active Directory services. So there's like a few different ones. We're gonna do this one. Immediately when you add it, it's gonna add a bunch of other features. So hit next. We're gonna hit next. Don't worry about any of this stuff. We're not gonna do anything here. Hit next. You see, let me go back first. You see by default goes to group policy. There's group policy right there. We're gonna hit next. And then this is like if you want to set up AD or Active Directory or AD Connect services, you can. You could actually put this on the cloud and put this on the back end if you like, which we'll do later on. So don't worry about that. Hit next. Install. So now it's installing the domain service and domain controller. And this will take a while, just FYI. This is not like one of those things that is like super duper fast, right? It's not fast. I'm just letting you know this does take a while. So let that install. While it's installing, let me just check other stuff over here. Let's see. We have this. We have this. We have this. So right now it's just installing Active Directory. And you guys probably could get confused, like what is Active Directory? Active Directory, think of it as a, back in the days they had phone books. Basically, it's a phone book with usernames and passwords, PCs that you can manage. So it's a centralized domain controller or centralized area where you could control everything, or it's controlled by your IT service provider. So that's basically what it is in a nutshell. And that's how companies today do things. Basically, they have Active Directory set up. Any person that logs in, they log into that domain controller, whether it's called google.com, facebook.com, youtube.com. These computers that they log into, they're managed by that Active Directory domain services. Basically, it's managed by them. And then basically, that's how you're able to log in, because what happens is when you log in for the first time, it goes and checks your domain controller. The domain controller looks up your name on the system when your account is created. It's like, oh, we see Jeff here. Jeff is here. Hi, Jeff. How you doing? Okay, you can log in. And that goes back to Kerberos and authentication. So all those things are very important. All right, so we're going to do promote the server domain controller. We don't have any existing domain controllers created. So we're going to do add a new for us. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it Kevtech .local, and it should let me in. Just give that a second. Looks like that works. So you have forces and domain controllers and when you think of a forest, you think of like trees, right? Like, you know how you have a tree and a tree branch. And so basically for domain controllers and stuff like that, you'll think of like they have multiple domain controllers. The forest within is a domain within a domain controller, and there's a bunch of forests. So some companies may have like 2 to 3, 4 domain controllers. Obviously, we're just making one today, so it gets a little complicated with that, but hopefully that makes sense. And there is like backwards compatibility here, which is, we're not going to touch this. We're going to leave it alone. So all you got to do is just put a password in here. And you're probably like, what is this password for, right? So this is your recovery password in case you need to log into the domain controller. That's basically what this is. So you hit next. You hit next. By default, it will actually just fill in the BIOS name or NetBIOS domain name. So don't worry about that. It should be fine. You hit next. Give that a second. And then see this system right here? System NTDS. Don't worry about NTDS. I will talk about this later on in my videos. There are some like, because you guys don't know I work cybersecurity now, so there are some things that we don't do on a domain controller that, because it's preventive measures, right? So you don't get hacked on your domain controller. You want to harden your AD controller services and stuff like that, right? So we're going to talk about that later on, so don't worry about this. And next. So now you have the option. You can either install it by hitting next, 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 or you could just use the script that it literally gave you. So what I do is I do view script, and I'm going to actually run the module. So it looks like gibberish to you, right? I'm going to close out of it. I'm going to hit cancel. Yeah, cancel wizard. Close out of this, close out of this. So it looks like gibberish, right? But it's not. Basically, it's saying in per module, Active Directory deployment, install a domain forest, create DNS delegation floss, database path, put the database path into C Windows NTDS, domain mode, and this is, what domain name do you want it to be? Kevtech.local. That's what I was asking me what domain, like it could be .com, .org, .local, right? And it says, what is the NetBIOS? And remember it says the autofills to Kevtech. Kevtech's right there. And it says, okay, well, we're going to put the log path. Log path will be on Windows, C Windows NTDS. So literally what you do is you just go here, you copy this, right? And you go into PowerShell. So you just type PowerShell, right? And you go over here and you're going to do run as administrator. And you're going to do copy and paste and you hit enter. And it's going to ask you for that same password. Like, what password do you want to make for this? I'm just going to confirm that password for you real quick. And you hit enter. And it's going to start to set up Active Directory for you. And then you should be good to go after that. Nothing crazy, nothing complicated. As you can see, you could save this on your computer if you want. But I'm not going to save it. I'm just going to close out of it. And now it's going to set up the necessary components for the domain controller. And what I want to do is, for the sake of this video, what I want to do is I'm going to go here. I'm going to do CMD. And I'm going to type ipconfig. Right? And I see that it's 10.0.4, 255.255.255.0, and it's 10.0.0.0.1. Right? This is the IP address, right? Gives me a good idea of what the IP address is, because I want to grab that Windows 10 VM that I created on the back end, which is the one that we created like a week ago, and I want to add this to the domain. So then these two things talk to each other. Then we could practice our labs and everything, right? We're not going to do that today, so don't worry about that, because that'll be too much information. All we care about today is Active Directory. That's it. So now it should sign me out. It actually installed it successfully. It should sign me out of this. I don't have to do anything. It should just kick me right out. So just give that a second. And it kicked me out. So you gotta wait it out now. Here at this point, it's just rebooting right now. It's trying to come back up. So give that a second. It's rebooting, it's rebooting, it's rebooting, it's thinking about it. So you gotta wait it out. I could try connecting again. It may work, it may not work. So it looks like it works. It's probably just setting up the domain services. This does take a while, by the way. So, yeah, look, it's taking, give me a second. It's not letting me in for some reason. Let's see here. Like I said, remember what I said. If you ever forget your password, right? See how it's not letting me in? If you ever forget your password, you could always change it. So if you ever forget your password, like I don't know why my password's not working. You could actually go here and then reset it. So if I go here and I type Helpdesk, right? And I do update password. It should update the password. Just give that a second. Decided to update the password, which is fine. Just give that a second. It's not letting me update the password because it's still thinking about it. I probably can't log in. I think my password is correct. I think I can't log in because it's still setting up the domain controller. That's probably why I can't log in. Because I know that is the right password. Yeah, see, that does work. See, it's taking a while because of the domain control services. It's okay. It's alright. It's all good. So, that is the right password. It's just not letting me in because it's still trying to set up the domain controller, which is totally fine. I'm like, am I putting in the right password? But no, actually, I am putting in the right password. It's just that because I set up Active Directory, it's taking such a long time for me to log into it. So, it's all about the waiting game at this point. You don't got to do anything crazy. That's the reason why it wasn't letting me in. Like I said, it's just, it does recognize my password, but it wasn't recognizing it because it's still trying to come up because the server is downloading and setting up Active Directory, and this is very time consuming. So you just gotta wait it out. You gotta have a lot of patience. Wait it out, and you should be good to go after that. So. Yeah, so just give that a second. This is like the most time consuming part of it. It's setting up AD. Once you set up AD, you should be good to go after that. We could do everything else after that, but this is the most time consuming thing out of everything. Like I tell everyone, like don't get intimidated by Active Directory. Active Directory is not going to hurt you. It's not going to destroy you or mess you up. It's not a bully, like don't be afraid of Active Directory. Active Directory is there. You set up some stuff, user accounts, passwords and stuff like that, So don't worry about Active Directory. It's just it's a lot of stuff in there. Like there's a lot you could do in there, but obviously like you don't have to worry about it like in depth, but it's just, Active Directory is there. That's it. So let that run. It's still running. Just give that a second. Yeah, just give that a second. It's still trying to load. You really gotta have patience with this because this does take a while. Let's give that a second. And looks like we're back. It looks like we're back in. All right, awesome. So yeah, that does take a while. Sorry about that. That does take a little bit of time. I don't want you guys getting overwhelmed with this information. So today we're gonna do two things. We're gonna go over briefly Active Directory just so you guys are aware of what it is, because I don't want you coming in here like, man, what is Active Directory? What is this, right? So before we do that, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to Active Directory Administration Center, right? This is literally the first thing I do. If you guys watch any of my videos, you know where I'm going to go with this. Kevtech.local, and I'm going to enable the recycle bin. I'm going to hit OK. OK. So it's going to enable the recycle bin on this server. What that does is if you delete a user account by accident, you could go to the recycle bin and then you could get them back and put them on the same spot where it originally was. That's basically what this is. So this is like the recycle bin for AD user accounts, if that makes sense. That's what this is. All right, so I'll close out of that. I may have to refresh it a couple of times, but it should come up. Oh, it should be enabled. Like, it is enabled now. Okay, cool. I see deleted objects there. All right, awesome. So let's not worry about that. Let's worry more about Active Directory. So you set up Active Directory. You have tools. You have Active Directory, users, and computers. You see all these other stuff. Don't worry about any of that stuff. All we care about is users and computers, right? I'm going to expand the living hell out of this because I want you to see what I'm doing, right? So now you have user accounts. We have a Helpdesk account. And there's an account here that I look at as an account. There's a few different accounts here. There is denied RLDC password replication, cert publishers, domain controllers, enterprise keys, enterprise read only, schema admins, read only domain controllers, enterprise read only domain controller. So there are different types of accounts here, right? Here is built-in accounts, right? There is certificate, Hyper-V, performance monitor, RDS end server, replicator, Windows authentication. And if I do view advanced features, it would add more stuff in here. So you can actually see more stuff in here. These are like, don't worry about that. We have managed service accounts, user accounts. This account is dangerous. So I'm going to make a video on this, so don't worry about this account. There's something about this account that controls silver ticket attacks and golden ticket attacks. What does that mean? Those are attacks that you do on a domain controller and create vulnerabilities. So you could get into the domain controller and pretend that you're a power user, and then you could hack other computers. That's what this is. This account controls Kerberos and controls authentication that comes in and out of the domain controller. So by default, if you go online on Microsoft, you have to actually change the password on this account every 6 months because this is a vulnerability. This is a built-in service account. You cannot delete it for the dear life of you. It comes with the computer, or it comes with the server 2016, server 2019, servers before that. It comes to the server because this controls authentication. This controls a ticket. So basically what that means is when you talk about tickets, not our ticketing system, basically it controls a ticket of authentication. It says, okay, when you log into the computer, you log into a computer, it talks to the domain controller. The domain controller is like, hi, I'm here. Oh, I needed you to confirm that you're Jimmy. Oh, you're Jimmy? Oh, it checks your ID. Okay, this is your ID. Your ID is Jimmy? Yeah, I see you're here. Okay, you're able to log in. So basically, this controls tickets that come in and out of a domain controller. And I'll make a whole video in depth about this. But basically, this is like an exploit or vulnerability. When it comes to Metasploit and Minicats, another tool that you could use, and a bunch of other tools for Kali Linux, this is like, you could hack this service account or this user account. So don't worry about that. I just wanted to throw that in there so you guys understand what I'm doing. All right, so literally the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up PowerShell. So let's see if it, yep, that works. I'm going to do run as administrator. And I'm going to do import module. And let's see if it lets me do anything. So it imported a module for Active Directory. And I'm gonna do get command new AD user. So minus, can't type today, AD user, syntax. And I typed syntax wrong, which is fine. There we go. So here it gives you the commands you could type in. Like, do you want to create a new user account? Yes, I want to create a new user account. So I'm going to do new AD user. I'm going to call it Jimmy. And let's go back over here. And I'm going to refresh it. Now Jimmy's right there. So that's how you create a user account. I want to make more like PowerShell command videos because I want you guys to understand what I'm doing. So literally what I did was I just created a user account. If I go here and I do new user, AD user, I'm going to do Jeff. It may give me an error message. It shouldn't give me an error message. It should create another account. So Jimmy is there. And if I go here, refresh, Jeff is there now. So that's how you have to import the module first. And then after that, you could actually type these commands in. Like I just did new user minus AD user, and I put the name of the person. So this is a basic command. I'm just giving you basic commands. That is one command, and then the other one is who am I? And it tells you more about me. So I'm logged in as Helpdesk, and the computer is, or the domain is Kevtech, kevtech.local or whatever. That's basically what this is. So if you do who am I, and you do FQD, and it's fully qualified domain name. It says the C name is Helpdesk. The users and the domain controller is Kevtech. Domain controller.local. Remember I created .local on it. So it's kevtech.local. So hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'm going to enable these accounts because I definitely want to use them. I have to update the password first, which is why it's giving me an error message, which is fine. I'll do that in 2 seconds. But let me reset the password. I'm going to do. And it should let me enable it now. So let's try that. Yep. And we'll do the same thing with this one. We're going to enable that account. So yeah, that's how you do it on PowerShell. 'Cause I do want to go over PowerShell a little bit. We'll do more PowerShell as I go on through all my videos, just so you have, you not only you have AD understanding, but you also have some PowerShell skills you could throw in there for yourself, so then you're a little more well-rounded. So if you go to the job interview, you could talk about PowerShell. You could talk, yeah, I know how to create a user account on PowerShell using new minus AD user space, the name of the user account. I'm able to create PowerShell accounts or create user accounts because you wanna show that to a hiring manager, right? Because I could go in here and then create a new user account, right? Create a new user and then create the account this way, and that's like manual, right? It's like me forever, right? Why not just run it on PowerShell? So that's it for me. I don't want to make this too complicated, but yeah, that's it for me. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is just setting up Active Directory using PowerShell and just beginners for someone brand new, because I don't want to make this overwhelming for you. I hope this helps you out. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Please share this video with people that are brand new to IT, trying to break into IT support. I'm all about helping other people. I want you to get as much information as you possibly can. That will make you stand out, and that will help you be all-rounded on the job market. I hope you have a great weekend. Take care. Peace. Bye.